Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live. I am Wendy Lai. Coming up this afternoon, some residents of Tema Community 18 trapped in their homes following last night's downpour. President Akufo-Addo eulogizes late Captain Mahama.
Promoted him to the rank of major.
School feeding caterers across the country halt feeding of pupils as arrears owed them by government remains unpaid. We have details of these coming up shortly. Please stay. You're watching Midday Live. Let's start with our stories now. And caterers of the school feeding program have halted their service to schools across the country. The move is in protest against their unpaid arrears. TV3 checks across the country revealed school pupils are no longer being fed. The caterers are no longer cooking in the schools.
Feeding project.
Now move to one of our headline stories, and late Maxwell Adam Mahama has been posthumously promoted to the rank of Major. President Akufo-Addo, who made the announcement, also revealed that the late officer will be giving a state burial on Friday.
President Akufo-Addo, in the company of some government officials, commiserated with the family of the late Captain Mahama. The late officer was lynched by some residents of Dentra in the Upper Dentra district of the Central Region on Monday, May 29. President Akufo-Addo reiterated his resolve to ensure perpetrators are dealt with according to the law.
Unfortunate matters that has brought us here were told to me very soon after it happened. And my words to the Minister of Interior who brought the news was that he should spare no stone, absolutely, to make sure that everybody who was involved in this horrible event would face justice. Fortunately for me, the police have been very active. I think as I speak, at least 40 people have now been remanded in custody, awaiting the formal processes of a trial and a prosecution.
Describing the late captain as a hero, the president announced his promotion to the rank of a major.
Promoted him to the rank of major. The cabinet agreed that we should also erect a monument, an appropriate and suitable monument in his honor in Ghana. We decided to set up a memorial trust fund in honor of Major Maxwell Adam Mahama. Government has decided to give 500,000 cedis as seed money to the trust fund.
The late Major Mahama will be given a state burial on Friday at the State House, Accra.
And still on this very story, this afternoon I have been joined by the spokesperson of the late Major's family, and he's in the person of Zacharias Sakara Ahmed. Hello, sir, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Condolences to the family
as
well. First of all, we heard about and seen the president talk on television announcing the promotion of the late Maxwell Mahama from Major to Captain. And what does the family make of this?
The family is very excited, particularly the father. He said it has always been his wish for his son to go higher than he did in the army. His father is a retired captain, and he had wished that Captain Maxwell Mahama goes higher than him. So yesterday, he was very elated that he was posthumously promoted to the rank of major. So the family is happy, it will go a long way to console us, to console the wife, and we believe to keep his memory alive.
Another thing that the person mentioned was about the 500,000 seed money for his wife and children, that's his nuclear family as well.
Yes, indeed. It was quite heartwarming to hear that. We are all aware that Major Maxwell Mahamma's children are still kids, 4 and 2. Obviously, Major had his own plans for these children. We believe that if he was alive, he would have liked to give them the best of education that he can. With the introduction of this fund, it is the belief and hope of the family that it will help meet the aspirations of Major Maxwell Mahamma.
Major Mahamma on Friday will be giving a state burial. How is the family and state protocol working hand in hand in this regard?
We actually were the site that proposed Friday. And before we came out of that, we had a meeting with representatives of the military high command. They gave us an outline of what would normally happen if it is a military burial. We also told them our side. So we came together and then we agreed that the funeral will be performed here. Provision will be made for us to take the funeral home to perform the funeral according to Gonja custom and according to Sisala custom, because Major Maxwell Mahamma's family tree goes as far as to Tumu. So that is the arrangement. On Friday, as we heard the President say, there will be a full state burial for him.
All right. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff and the Military High Command also proposed a monument for what has happened and in respect of the late Maxwell Mahamma, that's Major Mahamma. It has been accepted by the President as well. How's the family taking this?
Let me say here that it was the family that made the proposal to the Military High Command. Our reasons were twofold. First, we believe that the monument will keep the memory of the Major alive, especially in view of the manner in which he was killed. We also believe that the monument will serve as a reminder to all Ghanaians that never again should such a thing happen to anybody in this country.
Now, in repeating what you said, that never again should such a thing happen in this country, the family has indicated that they need justice served, else you would move to the International Criminal Court. Are you still looking at this issue?
Indeed. When the President came, his last point was that the government would ensure that no stone is left unturned to get to the bottom of this matter. We had as one of our concerns that we wanted to make sure that Maxwell death, we get justice and nothing but justice. We believe that it is the hope and aspiration of all Ghanaians that this matter, we must get to the bottom of it and justice must be served. The President's statement for us is an indication to the police and the investigators that they cannot do anything other than what the President has said. The president added that his doors are open. If we are not satisfied with anything, we should come to him. So if the outcome is not satisfactory to the family, the president will be our first point of call. And we believe that from the promises made by the president, we shall get justice.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. I have been speaking with the spokesperson of the family of the late Major Maxwell Mahama. He's the person of Zachariah Sakara Adams. Our condolence once again. You're still watching Midday Live, and it's time for What You Think, and we're still concentrating on Major, that's the late Major Maxwell Mahama.
The late Captain Maxwell Mahama has been given a posthumous promotion to the rank of a major. A 500,000 cedis memorial fund has also been set aside to take care of the children and family, together with a 50,000 seed fund. He will also be given a state burial and a monument erected in his memory. To most people, this would at least relieve the family of the pain. What do you also think?
Honestly, I don't think it would do anything because he's dead now. It wouldn't even do anything to the family. I mean, what are medals or what are promotions to someone who is dead? So what the country or everybody is yearning for is justice.
Justice would be the best thing, and at least I believe it will serve as a deterrent to others.
Yeah, I didn't need so I want to know. I finished some, and she said, "Me and Bema, woman is sick. Woman, we are sitting apart in Yakopon, and me anyway. By the behind us, a bumpire saying, "Me," and she said, "Obani clear, and any bushapon in no Yakopon and Bomo, and they say, my penny as a man a pejano." Nipana wewe then so sama woman so pejano because we been say nobody for so bia and sumami.
It's good to remember our fallen heroes, but how many more will occur? The government might not sit down for this mob action to be occurring then before they acknowledge people who are trying to change the world, our country for the better.
It's a good cause in such a way that I think the family will also have something for the kids, I mean, to invest in their future. So if the government is doing it, it's very good. But justice too is very important. Something like that happened, was it last year or last 2 years, to one of the ministers? Up to now, the guys are still in prison and the state is taking care of them. The state is buying food and drinks for them. So for me personally, the government has done well, but we want to see real justice. We want to see real justice prevail.
For me, I think they are laudable. They are good things, but there are a lot more of such kinds in the military. And I think there should be a broad thing or something that is set up for everyone that goes through such processes in the military. And then I would suggest that they build a military camp at Asiedu-Dartey in his honor. I think that would be the best thing they would have done.
This is Midday Live. Let's move on to other stories. And the New Patriotic Party has directed all regional executive committees to organize regional annual delegates conferences not later than July 26 ahead of the national conference in Cape Coast. At a news conference in Accra, the party's acting General Secretary John Boadu announced June 26 as a deadline for the submission of all proposals from any amendment of the party's constitution for consideration.
Is expected to kickstart deliberations on issues affecting the party in the region.
These conferences for this year, which will be climaxed by the annual delegates conference in Cape Coast, will only be assessing the party and its organization and programs for the year and all that. It is not an election conference.
On May 10, the MPP National Council at a meeting directed all party executives who had been given appointments by government to resign their party positions. The party's acting General Secretary John Boadu says the resignation by party executives is affecting the party's activities across the country.
If you look at the MMDCs, close to about 60% of the 216 are various officers of the party. It's affecting the party. It is for that reason that we expect that a lot of them, through the process, will get replacement for them to be able to work for the party.
Meanwhile, the MPP has also called on other political parties not to politicize the death of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama.
We mourn with the family, and we will never play politics with the death of such an innocent soul. We hope that other political parties will also refrain from playing politics with the painful death of a fellow citizen.
Away from politics, workers of the electricity company have blamed the Minister of Energy, Boakye Jarko, for the mob attack against staff of the company at Somanya in the Eastern region. According to the Deputy General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union, Richard Nyaba, a joint National Executive Council meeting of senior and junior staff of ECG have resolved workers of the company in the area should vacate post-effective.
Some residents of Somanya attacked the ECG office in the town following their dissatisfaction with what they described as outrageous utility bills. Following the incident, there has been a joint National Executive Council meeting of senior and junior staff of the company to deliberate on the issue. According to the workers, there has been a trend in the attacks on ECG workers following similar situations at Dansoman, Roman Ridge, Teshi, Ashaiman, Kede and Kwabre.
They were attacked on Friday, the 26th of May, and for the fear of their own safety, the workers decided to vacate the place.
The ECG workers blamed the recent attack on their staff on statements by the Energy Minister on billing challenges. Deputy General Secretary Richard Nyaba says only firm assurances of the safety of ECG workers in Somanya will lead to a reversal of the directive.
That we are saying until they are assured of their safety, they should not also get back to work. They should stay at where they know they will be safe.
The emergency meeting directed that red flags be hoisted at all ECG operational areas for 1 week in solidarity with the workers at Somanya.
Now to one of our headline stories, caterers of the school feeding program have halted their services to schools across the country. The move is in protest against their unpaid arrears. CV3 checks across the country revealed school pupils are no longer being fed. The caterers are no longer cooking in the schools. My colleague up north, Zubeda Ismail, has been touring some schools and reports the caterers have indeed halted their services. Let's go via phone and speak to her on updates on this very situation. Hello, Zubeda. Good afternoon.
Hello, Wendy. Good afternoon.
Now, tell us in confirmation that these caterers are no longer cooking, because you've been to a number of schools and early on you told us that from the schools you've visited, they aren't there.
Yes, I can confirm to you that some schools, including the Palbe Islamic Primary School in the East Gonja district, over there caterers, I'm told, since the beginning of this term, have not served even a single meal to pupils. Now, I moved from the East Gonja district, which is it's about a 40-minute ride from Tamale, to the Tolong district, and over there, interestingly, we have all the caterers working. My first stop was the Tolong Yipalgo Bay School, where I found the caterers cooking, and of course, I can confirm that over there, they are cooking, and then children are being served with meals. Here in Sanarigu, I visited some of the schools too in the Sanarigu district, and over there too, I realized that some caterers are not at post. And then according to the head teachers, these caterers too have not been to school since the beginning of this term. And so it is a mixture of some cooking and others not cooking, and others not even reported since the beginning of this term.
Okay, now for those who are there on site, now what exactly are they saying, knowing that there was a directive from their leadership not to cook for the pupils? Why are they there?
Yeah, when I tried speaking to some of them, they said that because, you know, especially when you talk about the Tolong side where most of the caterers are cooking, they get their produce from their own farms, and so even if money doesn't come, they can sustain the program. But from there, I went straight to the regional office of the catering school feeding program, where I was told by a member of the workers that they have been told, according to her, the caterers have been instructed that whoever stops cooking and follows the directive from Accra is going to lose her job. So it means that if you want to lose your job as a caterer at school, then you can decide not to cook. But if you don't want to lose your job, then you have to sustain the project. And so that has been more like a threat from the regional authority to caterers, and that is how come we have some of them cooking, but others have not cooked, and like I said, have not even reported since the beginning of the term. And
what was the action finally of the students and school authorities, that's the pupils, when you went there and they probably got to school and realized there's no food?
Yeah, at the Palbe Islamic Primary School, I spoke to the assistant headmaster, Mr. Ibn, and then he tells me that school enrollment was great. That was compared from last term. I mean, they had about over 200 pupils coming to school on their enrollment. But since the beginning of this term, the first week it was okay, but about 2 weeks now, students don't come. You have less than 100 people in that school as we speak, and as of the time I visited.
Thank you very much, Subeda Ismail, for that update on the school feeding. She'll bring us some more updates as and when she gets them. But the rest of the world, to mark the Environment Day, Irene Amesimeko has been looking at the impact of these activities on the environment.
Illegal mining, deforestation, pollution and encroachment on forest areas are some activities affecting Ghana's vegetative cover and the environment. As a result, 12.19% of Ghana's forest area is lost yearly. The Achimota forest, for instance, has lost 134.95 hectares, which amounts to 27% of the forest area. Aside the depletion of forest cover, illegal mining activities have also resulted in the pollution of water bodies in the country. Environmentalist and president of Friends of Rivers and Water Bodies, Nana Jumosapon, is calling for a concerted effort towards preserving environment.
These trees are absorbing the carbon and they also breathe out oxygen for us. So by this forest we are getting good air, oxygen to breathe. Without this forest, Accra, there will be too much. There's a lot of pollution in Accra, and it's only this forest which is helping us. So today, as we connect to nature, see the beauty of nature, see the scenery atmosphere, all we are telling people that let's conserve nature.
This, he said, would help Ghanaians appreciate the beauty of nature, urging law enforcement agencies to put measures in place to protect the environment.
The law enforcers are not helping us. They come out with explanations which are unacceptable. If everybody will do his work and enforce the laws that we have in our status book, some of the disasters we have, like the June 3rd, won't happen. But we want to take this opportunity to tell the people who have been put in charge of our environment to do their work well.
Regional Manager of Forests in the Greater Accra region, Edith Ansa, further reiterated the need to appreciate and patronize natural reserves in the country.
Now let's look at some other stories. And the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ASAP, has condemned the recent attacks on ECG staff at Somanya in the Eastern Region. Executive Director of ASAP, Benjamin Boache, says the aggrieved customers of the electricity distributor should rather use legitimate processes to seek redress.
Workers of ECG have lashed out at the Energy Minister Boache Jakon for failing to condemn the mob attack on their office at Somanya more than 1 week after the incident. According to the workers, recent statements by the sector minister concerning ECG billing challenges might have influenced the mob attack. Energy policy think tank ASAP says such attacks are unwarranted.
I think attack in any form is not acceptable, and that has to be understood by every Ghanaian. The fact that somebody may not be delivering a service to your satisfaction doesn't embolden or give you the right to attack any worker of ECG.
ASEP says the 40 meters and billing challenge confronting the ECG underscores the need for massive investments in the power distribution company.
There are legitimate processes for addressing grievances of that sort. And I think it's also an indictment on the sector players, the PURC and the ECG itself, to educate people on the processes that are available, to resolve, matters of that nature.
You're still watching Midday Live. We have more. To every story, there's a deeper meaning, a host of angles, which, when reported with the highest ethics of journalism, bring out the perspectives that matters most to you. That's what News 360 is all about. I seek to climb higher, dig deeper, and go further to bring you 360 degrees of the news and what happens thereafter. I'm Natalie Fort. Join me on News 360 every weekday at 7 p.m.
Log on to www.3news.com for more news and updates of our major stories. Join us on Facebook 3newsgh for live streaming and comments on our page. Like and follow us on Twitter at 3newsgh and at 3sportsgh. Like our pictures on Instagram, TV3 Network. If you missed our live shows, watch a playback on YouTube, TV3GH. TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
You're still watching Midday Live, and several people are trapped in their homes following a downpour last night in Tema Community 18. Our correspondent, Josephine Frimpong, joins us live from the location to give us some updates on what exactly is happening there.
More than 20 homes here at Community 8 in Cambodia. Water has still flooded their homes. Some are at the lintel level, some at the window level, some are also at the middle level. Homes have been flooded. Vehicles are also floating on the water. Some had to scale the wall, others had to wade through the water. And this is how I had to enter one of the homes that have been flooded. I need to descend through this ladder before I go through the water and speak to the family who live in this house. They have not had a good sleep since 2 a.m. So we'll be speaking to the owner of this house to tell us exactly what happened here Monday dawn. Madam, how are you?
Fine, thank you. It rained last night since 2 a.m. and we've not been able to have any sleep. We've been awake trying to save our lives and some of our properties. Before, we didn't have this problem. Sometimes when it rains, you have a little rain in your house. But this time, because a certain estate developer came to buy where the water normally passes, it has made it difficult for the water to pass because he has filled the place where the water passes. So when it rains, the water has to find its own way by entering various homes to this place. So since then, we have been going through this problem.
What are some of the things that have been destroyed in your home?
Almost everything. Everything that we use in the house has been destroyed.
2 residents reported that they had electrical shock during the downpour. According to them, this is the second time that this has happened to people who live here. But for how long can they continue to endure flooding in these areas? Josephine Frimpong, TV3 News, Community 18, Cambodia.
We'll bring you some more updates on this story in our subsequent bulletins. We now move to education, and the Deputy Eastern Regional Minister has visited the Okwapiman BEC Center, where visually impaired pupils from the Kropon School for the Blind are writing their BEC. Solis Ruscote has been interacting with the Deputy Minister.
We started this monitoring since yesterday. We went to my constituency, the Upper Manya. They started well. Just some few people were absent. Some were even due to pregnancies, which was very unfortunate, but still we have to encounter that. Today we are here in Kwapim North. We passed by Okrasi, Tinkon, before this place. But it seems the number over here is very great, and what I've seen over here too is very interesting. Visually impaired people, this is my first time of having encounter with them, and the way they are writing the exams, they are eager to do something. It's very encouraging. They need to be helped. I'm very touched about that place. So I will take it up, discuss with my minister, if possible. We do something to help them more than they are in now.
So like you saw early on in the visuals, pupils of the Kropon School for the Blind are also participating in this year's BEC. And Solis Ruscote again is kindly there and joins us live from the center.
We are at the Visually Impaired Resources Center here in the Okwapiman Senior High School, where 26 students, visually impaired students, are also writing their BEC. And so I'm going to take you through and find out exactly how it's done. I'm going to speak to one of our authorities here who wants to remain anonymous. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So I can see one of these students is using a machine, that's the Braille machine, yes. And then the other is not.
Yes.
Okay, could you briefly explain?
Okay, we have two types of writing for the visually impaired. So the one who is using the, we call it frame and stylus. So the pin that he is using to punch is what we call stylus. And then the frame is what we call the Braille frame. It has some small boxes on it, and each box consists of 6 dots. So as he put the pin on the word that he wants to write, that is where he will punch it, and then in the end he gets.
So is it like an option as to whether or not to use the machine or to just use the frame?
Yes, it's just a matter of convenience to the students. It's their choice. Some prefer using the frame and then others with the machine.
Okay. Now, when it comes to examination, one of the key things that most people worry about in terms of even the authorities is examination malpractices. Mm-hmm. Now, is it the same situation that you would experience with a visually impaired student?
Yes, it's possible. That is why we have invigilators around. Somebody can copy for another person.
I saw one of the young ladies at the back when we entered the first time. She doesn't seem to have a machine, and she seems to be, looking closely. What is she doing?
She's using the Braille itself, just that she has what we call residual vision. So she is trying to use her vision left to read the Braille instead of using the fingers. Then the WAEC would have provided her with a large font size that she will be able to read a size maybe 24 or size 20, any size that will be convenient to her.
Okay, now regarding the machines, who is in charge of providing them?
The machines are being provided by the schools.
So the schools, which schools exactly?
For instance, they are coming from School for the Blind, so they will come with theirs. Others have their personal machines. So they also bring.
Do they write the same exams as the, sighted students?
Yes, they write the same exams. Today they are writing InterScience. It's the same exams. What WAEC does is that they modify the questions where it requires diagrams. Then theirs will be in a written form, questions in a narrative form, so that they will be able to answer those questions.
The Visually Impaired Resources Center at the Okwapiman Senior High School. My name is Solis Rose quoting Okwapiman here in the Eastern region.
So we'll bring you some more as well in our subsequent bulletins.
Log on to www.3news.com for more news and updates of our major stories. Join us on Facebook 3newsgh for live streaming and comments on our page. Like and follow us on Twitter at 3newsgh and at 3sportsgh. Like our pictures on Instagram, TV3 Network. If you missed our live shows, watch a playback on YouTube, TV3GH. TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
When the news breaks, reporters and anchors broadcast it. Analysts will talk about the impact of this on society. But current affairs will set the agenda for policymakers to implement it. This is what we do on Agenda. It's sharp, authentic, and hard-hitting. My name is Deborah Kwabla. Join us as we set the agenda.
Agenda now shows on Sundays at 3 p.m. only on TV3 and is supported by 3FM 92.7 Accra.
A news anchor with style
and professionalism
must be someone you can trust, someone you can relate to,
someone you can bond with, and with real experience.
That is who we are.
That is who we are.
That's who we are. That's who we are.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. My name is Pa Kwesi Asari. In our very first story, Chairperson
not contact the AGI on the decision to sanction Angel Group over an alleged boozing spree following a concert the company held on April 2017.
We commend the FDA for lifting up the ban on the Adonko bitters, but next time we will encourage them to engage the services of AGI and other stakeholders to come out with a better decision if such a thing should happen again.
On the subject of the government's one district, one factory policy, Jemfua said some chiefs have assured the AGI of making lands available to serve as a free zone enclave for industrial establishment.
With regards to land acquisition for this policy, the Asante Notum 4 Asiedu-Dartey the second said to his chiefs that they should actually make land available to industry. It's a laudable policy, and if everybody encourages it, I think Ghana is going to be a golden place to live in.
She also commended government for banning 49 imported medicines into the country, saying the move would help grow the local industry.
In other news, Ghana will pass a right to information bill before the end of this year. Communications Minister Asiedu-Dartey, speaking at the launch of the Open Data Conference in Accra, told the media that government will put up the appropriate facilities to ensure transparency in open data.
Open data seeks to highlight the leadership role of the private sector in supplying, using and demanding open data and bring together brilliant innovators and visionaries to grow their networks. It aims to connect with sources of support and introduce investors and donors to an expanding sector that seeks and supplies open data to achieve development goals in Africa and across the globe. Communications Minister Asiedu-Dartey underscored the importance of open data, adding it is the best way to help government to be accountable to the people.
It would also help to make governments more accountable to the people, so people don't sit on information and think that it is their personal property, and you need to go through hoops or know some very big person before you can get information, sometimes even information about yourself. That is why we want to move to the open data society.
She said by the end of this year, the Right to Information Bill will be passed.
Some progress has been made in this area, but we still have a long way to go, and there's several challenges which include lack of an open data policy and guidelines that ensure that open data is a whole of government initiative.
Acting Director of the National Information Technology Agency also underscored the importance of making information available so it can easily be accessed.
Making information available to businesses, to entities, to individuals who wants to plug in and make something out of it. This is the core of the whole process.
Between July 17 and 21, over 600 delegates across the world are expected to take part in this year's Africa's Open Day Conference in Accra. The first edition of the Open Data Conference was organized by the Africa Open Data Collaborative in September 2015 in Tanzania.
That's all for business. My name is Pakwisi Asare. Up next is sports with Thierry Nyan.
All right, so good afternoon. It's time to bring you all the latest in the world of sports with me, Thierry Nyan, here on Midday Live. Now, we start off with the Black Stars. Remember, we brought you news yesterday that they have arrived in Kumasi to make final preparations for, their CAN and, 2019 game against Ethiopia. Now, John Boy says that his colleagues appreciate the warm reception that they received, upon arriving in Kumasi, and calls for more support on Sunday.
Everything is fine here. The feelings is very well here and everything, especially the fans and everything. So I think we don't have a problem here. Of course, it's a win. Of course, they have to expect win. That's what everybody is expecting, and that's we with the players also we are expecting. So they should expect everything.
Meanwhile, Ghana goalkeeper Adam Larson Kwarase has signed a 3-year deal with Norwegian side Vålerenga. Now, the former Vålerenga Strømsgodset and Rosenborg and Portland Timbers goalkeeper has agreed to stay at the club till 2020. Kwarase started his career at Vålerenga but did not get a game before he announced his transition to Strømsgodset in 2007. The 29-year-old was named in the Black Stars team that would play against Ethiopia, but asked to be excused because of club commitment. And then we move away from there. That is one Ghanaian that is signing for a new club. And then we go to another, Ghanaian midfielder that is actually, staying put at his club despite the reports that he is going to be leaving his club. I'm talking about Kweja Samoa. Now, contrary to the report circulating in Italy that he has submitted a former, transfer request to leave Juventus this summer, the midfielder has denied the move. Asamoah has struggled to break into the Juventus first team since making a full recovery from injury. And although the 28-year-old has 1 year left on his contract, he insists he will sit out his deal with the Turin Giants beyond the summer. He's been sought after by English sides Chelsea and West Ham United. Turkish giants Galatasaray have also been linked with a versatile midfielder. Asamoah was transferred from Udinese to Juventus for 18 million euros in 2012. Now, the Week 18 fixtures of the Ghana Premier League has been rescheduled for Friday and Saturday to pave way for the Black Stars' 2019 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Ethiopia in Kumasi on Sunday. Accra Hearts of Oak, after their heavy 5-0 defeat to league leaders Wafa, will turn their attentions to Bolga Stars when they welcome them to the Accra Stadium on Friday in an attempt to make amends. Coach Frank Nuttall's team face a must-win against Bolga Stars to maintain their place in the top 4 and also appease their wounded fans after the loss to Wafa. Now, title-chasing Gadiana Stars also welcome Kumasi Asante Kotoko to Doma Hinkro in a keenly contested game on Monday. high-flying Wafa traveled to Carindorf Park to face Liberty Professionals on Friday in a bid to maintain their lead. Champions All Stars will also host Brecum Chelsea at the Wa Park as they keep their taps on their current struggling form. Mediama welcome resurgent Ashanti Gold to Takwa, and Elmina Sharks will also travel to that is the Elwak Sports Stadium, to face Inter Allies, all on Friday. And then to the world of tennis, and this year's French Open is a land of opportunity with no Grand Slam champions left among the women's draw. For the first time since 1977, the quarter-final lineup is Paris is devoid of any player to have won a major title. Simona Halep, Karolina Pliskova and Caroline Wozniacki are the only players to have reached a Grand Slam final. The women's draw is missing 30 Grand Slam titles, with the absence of Serena Williams awaiting the birth of her first child, Victoria Azarenka, who returns at Wimbledon following the birth of her son, and Maria Sharapova, who did not get a wildcard entry after her doping ban. So what that essentially means is that we are going to be having a new champion in the French Open. That has never happened since 1977. There's always been one winner who has won it before. This time around is going to be a fresh champion, so watch out for that. Anyway, that's exactly where we bring an end to the sports bulletin right here on Midday Live. I hand over to Wendy Lai, who has some more news for you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Good news.
Yeah, by all means. So you should be participating in tennis. Maybe you could have been, laying your hand on the title.
When you start, I'll follow suit.
You have a long way to go.
You should mentor me. All right, then. Thanks for staying. We'll now focus on the presidency. And President Akufo-Addo has left Ghana to attend meetings of the United Nations Advocacy Group on eminent personalities on the UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals in his capacity as co-chairperson of the group, in taking place in Belgium and the United States of America, and to attend the G20 Partnership for Africa Summit in Germany. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised to strengthen relations with Africa to improve trade, agriculture and education. Speaking at the 51st ECOWAS Summit in Liberia, the Israeli leader called for an effective collaboration to fight terrorism. Next, we have entertainment.
Entertainment news is brought to you by
Takoradi-based rapper Steven Sion, aka Ayisem, has decried widespread use of illegal substance marijuana by today's youth, urging abuse of that substance could put their health at risk. His 2017 project, Kuti, talks about the youth's love for marijuana and its side effects and the need to stay away from drugs.
If you don't use it, if not used it before, why promote it?
Actually, using we have so many ways of using the drug. It's not all about smoking it. I quite remember when I was in school, I think someone mixed it with shito and I tasted it. That was the first time, and I behaved strangely though, because I realized, I didn't even know until they told me, it's being mixed with the shito and that kind of thing. I won't talk about the smoking, but I think we have so many other ways that people use it, and then since Ghanaians are always hypocrites, they don't want to say the truth, and then I know people use it in so many ways. So,
right. So we have the biscuit. We have the tea, we have the toffee.
Yeah, so many ways people use it, and I think if you use something and then you are not cool or you're not familiar with it, if the thing is not helping you, you stop it.
What is the song in a nutshell, what is the song pushing for? What is the song saying?
Yeah, that's what I said. We come in, we embarking on this thing called Say No to Drug Abuse. So the main aim is that the youth out there, as an artist, I serve as the mouthpiece for the people out there, especially the youth. So I'm just using this opportunity to tell the youth out there to stay away from drug abuse. That's all. So yeah, back at them, we are 4 hours. It's good from my youth because I get more power.
So that's all for this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching Midday Live. I am Wendy Lai. Do have a blessed afternoon. Good afternoon.